So we've actually never talked about this YouTuber named iilluminaughtii here on the channel. A couple months ago though, she was going through some crazy drama all over the internet, which pretty much started by accusing other editors of like stealing her idea for an edit. After that happened, a bunch of drama came out, pretty much destroying her reputation. This was a YouTuber who did like in-depth kind of documentary style videos that went from getting 500,000 views per video to now only getting like 20 million views per video. Now, initially, I didn't cover the whole situation here on the channel because honestly, I'd never heard of the person, but after I've looked into the entire situation, it was honestly terrible. Like at the time, she was sending cease and desist letters to anyone that was daring to criticize her, and now just recently, one of her previous boyfriends and employees actually made an entire video pretty much talking about how iilluminaughtii has pretty much destroyed his life. So let's get right into the video.
Howdy everyone, I'm Oz, in the flesh. No cartoon avatar this time. I'm making this because I'm giving an update to both my regular viewers and those who are here for something a bit more specific. I need to make everyone aware, for reasons that I hope this update will make clear. For my safety, I need to put a short and temporary pause on production of my video on iilluminaughtii. I just need to put things on a lower burn and return to regular content for the time being, for many reasons. Some of them being the honest truth that I can't afford to continue at this rate, both fiscally and physically. iilluminaughtii has taken this to a legal front, using the courts because of how poorly things went for her on the internet. iilluminaughtii started a fight with a lawyer on Twitter, accused him of copying her style, which then led to other content creators and past collaborators speaking out about their past interactions with her, where she would then post a suicide note of one of her former employees for the world to see as an attempted own.
It's actually crazy how this whole situation actually just started on Twitter, and then she brought up like a past suicide note in front of like a 1 million subscriber channel, which is honestly just crazy. Like, imagine how inappropriate and disgusting that actually is. Something so private, you know, you leave for like one person you really care about right before you think you're about to take your life, and this person then shares it on the entire internet for like over 1 million people to see. I honestly cannot fathom how she thought that was a good idea. Only 18% of the people watching this video right now are actually subscribed to the channel. Don't be part of the 81%. Subscribe to the channel, you have nothing to lose. And I remember initially, you know, people were saying and coming out in defense of her, pretty much saying the only people that were, you know, criticizing her were like men, and you know, it's like a sexist thing. But I mean, is that acceptable behavior for anyone? I mean, seriously, regardless if you're a guy or a girl or whatever, posting someone's private suicide note publicly for like 1 million people to see is absolutely insane to me.
I've put a lot of things in my life on hold to produce this video, ending up with nearly 110 pages of a manuscript which details as much of what I can. And let me tell you something, converting this monstrosity into a video with its accompanying 5,000 screenshots has been one hell of a monumental task for me, a one-person team to embark on. I need to pump the brakes and not rush this out for the sake of being able to not stress about my next meal, or my next bill for that matter.
I feel so bad for this guy because I know he's stressed as shit. Like, I know how stressful it can be to, you know, consistently upload and that kind of thing. I'm not saying, you know, making YouTube videos is the hardest job ever or anything, but, you know, it can be pretty stressful to make this kind of content. And for someone that's just making like videos at the moment pretty casually, I cannot imagine being in this guy's situation where, you know, he's pretty much depending on his next YouTube video to make ends meet, you know, to feed himself, which is honestly kind of crazy. Like, that must be so stressful. In the rest of the video, he talks about how he's pretty much in like a financial chokehold from iilluminaughtii, and so of course, you know, some people could say, you know, go out and get a job, but if his option is to make YouTube work or get like a minimum wage job, I think most people would choose to try to make YouTube work no matter what.
For full transparency, which will be explored more in my future video, Blair and I dated. We were a couple for a decent chunk of time. This puts me in an ungodly complicated situation of doing everything that I can to try and separate the relationship drama from the public drama, as in the process of dating her, there are a lot of things which I bore witness to, so I won't be homeless come Christmas. Because that's when Blair set my home to foreclose, right before Christmas. And yes, Blair has the power to set the foreclosure sale. That I was mortified that if I spoke out against Blair or even dared to cross her, that she would retaliate with taking my home from me.
I think it's absolutely crazy the hold that this Illuminati person had over him. You know, taking someone's home right before Christmas is like actually supervillain behavior. And he talks about how he was worried that, you know, this Claire person might retaliate and take his home for even speaking out about him. I mean, imagine having that kind of hold over someone. That is literally supervillain behavior. This isn't only just, you know, the cease and desist orders were really crappy and it made Illuminati look like a terrible person, but taking someone's house from them because they disagree with you is, I mean, it's psychopathic behavior. This is a YouTuber acting like this, not a supervillain from a movie, okay?
Now, let's talk about how Blair is even able to foreclose on me. What put her in a position of power beyond a landlord? A mortgagee, which in my eyes is something even worse. As I briefly stated previously, Blair and I dated. We started when I was 20 and she was 28. And currently, I'm 23. In the beginning, Blair walked me into several poor financial decisions. My naivety caused me to believe her reassurances that I could handle all of the financial obligations being dropped onto my shoulders by someone more experienced in life than I was. Why these obligations were placed onto me? At the time, Blair had bad credit, so all of the purchases, loans, everything was being placed in my name. This included the car that she purchased then revoked from Wonderstruck. I was on the loan as a cosigner only because of my credit at the time.
Her initial response was crazy, but I think the crazier thing about this was there was never an apology. Like, the Illuminati situation, if you guys didn't remember, you know, 4 to 5 months ago was so huge that, you know, everyone on the internet was talking about it, except me, of course, but so many people were talking about it, and instead of coming out with like a proper response, because she did do a response video, but it was absolutely terrible, and I believe she either deleted it or privated it, instead of doing either of those things, you know, and making a good apology and saying, hey, that first video was trash, you know, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be sending cease and desist, you know, legal letters to people who criticize me on the internet. She hasn't replied at all, which is absolutely insane to me, and I want to see her reply to this situation because this is like psychotic behavior. I mean, think of all the crazy crap we've covered here on the channel, and there's been a lot of terrible things that, you know, these YouTubers or influencers have done to other people. A lot of it we've covered here on the channel, but the idea of holding, you know, holding the mortgage of someone's home over someone's head, you know, a past partner and a past, I believe he was an editor to Illuminati, so the idea of holding a house over her head, you know, being able to decide whether he goes homeless or not, is just, it's honestly like supervillain behavior. And
the financial responsibilities that I incurred would stack up on me, building a mountain of monthly debt that would lead me into several financially tight months and eventually just breaking. This would lead me to asking Blair, my partner, for financial help for things such as my home, which she was living in. Help from my partner, who at any given time would be making up to 30 times my monthly income. This ledger also includes things such as a non-refundable design fee and land deposit on a multi-million-dollar custom home that she threatened to break up with me if I didn't agree to proceed on this with her. This ledger would creep into the range of $180,000, an insurmountable amount where I don't even understand how she got there. That number ballooned higher and higher, the number ever increasing, and I never questioned it out of guilt for needing help. Guilt from her telling everyone, from her friends to my friends, to her employees, to hell, even her Discord staff, about my finances, oftentimes unprompted. My own partner, the person who was supposed to be my other half, was actively putting me in a position where she was chipping away at my mental health. I was afraid to tell anyone what was happening because she had convinced me that I was a parasite.
Now in this clip, he pretty much talks about how Illuminati pretty much financially manipulated him. Now, I'm honestly a little surprised that she had bad credit, considering, I mean, she was a YouTuber, you know, 500,000 views a video. She'd probably making a pretty solid chunk of change, that kind of, you know, it's good money. But she, you know, she had bad credit and she uses this guy to pretty much, you know, co-sign. And I gotta gotta say, if you guys don't know what co-signing is, it's pretty much, you know, leveraging like your credit to help someone buy something because their credit's bad. And I gotta say, if you guys are ever in the position to, you know, co-sign for anything, please either don't do it or make sure you trust the person with your life, because that's really what it is. I mean, you know, this guy's talking about how over the last 4 months he's pretty much had to live through, you know, not knowing if he was just on the verge of going homeless. But the problem is, even if, you know, he did get kicked out, because Illuminati ruined his credit, he won't be able to, you know, afford a home or a mortgage or anything like that for probably like 5 to 10 years. Okay, this is the kind of trust he put in Illuminati, and it looks like it completely backstabbed him, which is it's devastating. The original exposed videos of Illuminati, you know, it pretty much made her look pretty terrible. You know, she was sending, you know, cease and desist letters to people that were criticizing her. She was, you know, starting unnecessary drama. But to know she financially manipulated this guy into co-signing and destroying his credit and pretty much, you know, making this guy live in a constant state of, you know, am I about to go homeless, any other normal internet drama, this is like genuinely evil behavior. But that's just my thoughts. You can let me know your thoughts down in the comments. The other day we made a video about how Logan Paul and Dylan Dennis finally had their face off, and I gotta say, in this video, Logan Paul definitely took it too. You can click here to watch it now.